Welcome to the Abiding CEO, the podcast for Christian business owners who want to grow spiritually and in business. I'm your host, Dr. Betsy Mejias, therapist, speaker, and fellow business owner. I know what it's like to feel stressed, burnt out, and overwhelmed, which is why I created this audio oasis for us, a space for healthy attachments, kingdom identity, and business growth that flows from peace and not pressure. Here, theology, psychology, and business intersect to bring practical tools and spirit-led insight. I'm here to pass the heart of entrepreneurs who want to stop striving and start abiding. So take a deep breath, let it go, and get ready to grow.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Abiding CEO. I am your host, Betsy Mejias. Excuse my voice. Sound a little deep, feeling a little under the weather today. Hopefully this is not too distracting to all the abiders out there. I know you usually listen to a nice and soft voice, but today you're gonna have to stick with me.
Yeah, he's being funny. So it's me, Betsy. Hi, guys. And we're going to try something different for the next few episodes, maybe for the month of June. I am going to be co-hosting and having my husband on. So that's who you just heard. Go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everyone. My name is actually Jarvis.
Okay, so it's much easier to just talk when you have some dialogue. It's a little more dynamic. And I know sometimes I say things that I could have expounded on, and my husband is okay interrupting or asking or pulling it out of me or even adding his opinion to certain situations. So today we have an interesting topic.
Okay, so what is the topic we're covering today?
Okay, so last week I spoke about forgiveness. And today I thought it'd be interesting to talk about how holding on to that bitterness and trying to prove yourself hindering your business and your bank account.
That's very interesting.
I got the idea because I won't say names, and there's good and bad in every content creator out there, but there's a comment made about having your enemy in mind. I'm like, what? I would like to think I don't have enemies, and that just seems counterintuitive to being a Christian business owner. So I'm gonna build and scale so I can prove you wrong. When you're probably not even thinking about me, why would I do that?
That is not the right reason to do it. Definitely not. When you're in the business world, you should have a clear understanding of what is it you want to do and why you want to do it. And just to show someone that you're better than them, that's not a good reason.
Because essentially what they were justifying goes countercultural to what it's like to be a Christian, right? We
Yes.
take on the identity of Christ. We're about love. We're about peace, all the fruit of the Spirit. But essentially, your fuel, that thing that keeps you going, is resentment and bitterness. Something's not right with that picture. And I can't imagine that it's sustaining, because then if your only goal is to pass that person, what happens when you do pass them? That's it. You have no more goal, no more vision.
And then you're lost and you still don't feel fulfilled. You feel lost.
Can you think of an example, without saying names, of what it looks like to be fueled by bitterness and resentment?
Or whenever sometimes we're doing something, not just in business, but in life in general, when we're trying to do something, accomplish something. Sometimes even the people closest to us sometimes
Mhm.
can be our harshest critics and the ones that kind of like crabs in a bucket, keep you down, pull you down. And if you're not careful, there can be a lot of resentment there towards those people, in particular your family. Sometimes your family are the ones that try to keep you down because misery loves company, and if they're miserable, then they don't want to see you happy and fulfilled. And if you're not careful, then that will feed into you unforgiveness, like you were talking about last podcast episode, and that will turn into resentment because we're holding on to it, and that's not a great place to be in.
Yeah. I can see people then going into businesses that they don't even enjoy just to prove a point.
Yes.
And that's not going to sustain you when things get tough.
No, it won't. It won't, because that's the wrong motivation, and also you got to have the discipline to stick to it and get it done.
And motivation affects your behavior because it affects your thought life. And if we go with like cognitive behavioral therapy, right, it's a whole chain reaction.
Yes.
So we're going to start with the thought of, I'll show them, right? And then I'll show them almost produces this anger too with it. Like, yeah, you're bitter, but it's also like you're angry and you have to prove something. So then what does that look like when you're doing payroll, right? Or you're interviewing and you're hiring? It's you're comparing yourself, you're shutting somebody else up. That's that's so toxic. Flowing from a place of I'll show them just is very damaging.
Yeah. But sometimes people around you, they just put that label on you. That's a perception they have of you. Like you're walking around, oh, you're a business owner. For instance, I have a full-time job during the day that I go to Monday through Friday. And people are aware that we own a business, right? But they have this certain perception of like, oh, you must know this, you must know that. Some people, that's under undertone. And if you're not careful, you'll get caught up in that toxic environment. And before you know it, you're doing things for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. It's almost like making an idol
Yes.
of the pain, right?
Yep.
Because that's what you're focusing your energy on, your attention.
Yep. Pain can fuel you. Pain can be a good fuel to motivate you and get you going, but it's not something that's going to be sustainable in the long run. You're going to burn out faster because you're doing it solely for, if that's the only reason you're doing something, that's the only motivation behind it, then it's not going to be enough.
No, it's expensive. And well, it could be because say somebody who's doing something to prove that they can make it or that they've reached a certain tier, they will drain their bank account
Yes.
to prove that point, to keep it going, to keep the facade going. I remember back in the day, I don't know if people still say this, but I remember being at a training when I was in banking, and the trainer said, get yourself a blazer. You got to fake it till you make it. And I just thought it was weird. And I guess if you know me, yeah, now I wear blazers here and there, but I'm a little on the casual side. Could I be more professional? Yeah. Does that really matter? I don't know. Maybe it depends on the environment. Maybe it matters more to the other person. But there are people that will go into debt to look a certain way.
Yes. It's like that keeping up with the Joneses attitude, or like, fake it till you make it, like you said, which is like you gotta act it into existence pretty much. Like I'm gonna act this way. I'm gonna act like I'm a millionaire and show and
What if we,
walk and smell and eat and walk and drive and all those things. But then we're just draining everything else in us, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, because we're chasing after something for the wrong reasons with the wrong fuel and fire.
yeah. And then you said keeping up with the Joneses. That's exactly what it is, except you're using business as
Yes.
the competition.
Yeah.
Here's a scripture to tie it into this topic. Hebrews 12:15. See to it that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many.
That's good.
Defile many. What do you think about that?
Well, that goes to show how powerful it is, how much power it has if you let it overtake you. If you let it take root in your heart, it'll grow and affect those around you.
Yeah.
Like think about the roots of a tree, how that you don't see what's under the dirt, but it reaches deep and far and wide. So that's what happens. Same thing with bitterness. As it grows in us, because we don't uproot it and throw it away,
Yes.
it just keeps growing, and I'll grab hold of those things around you. Like a tree can wreak all kinds of havoc with pipes and sidewalks and all that stuff. If it's planted the wrong way, the wrong kind of tree, and bitterness in your heart takes root and it grows. That's exactly what it does. It destroys everything in its path.
Yeah. So basic, right? A good tree produces good fruit.
Yep.
Bad tree produces bad fruit. And if the root, what you're reproducing, is bitterness, it will defile you and your business and your relationships. because I've said it more than once, business is relational.
It is, yeah.
And it's important.
It'll affect those around you first, like your spouse, or those that have spouses that are in business as well, and your children, and then it goes out from there.
Yeah, it's just too much of a liability. And like when you're running a business, you got to consider, the cost of the investment. Yes. In this case, it may not be right, but it's the emotional cost of the investment. Like it's just no.
Yeah, like what is this going to cost me in the long run? Is it worth it? Am I doing it for the right reasons? Check your heart and the fact and the matter. All those things are important.
Okay, so it's time to consider abiders, right? What happens when your success is driven by bitterness instead of love? And we're called to love and to be secure in Him.
That's a good question to ponder on and think about. It's a loaded question right there.
Okay, until next time. Thanks for tuning in to The Abiding CEO. I hope today's conversation helped you find the clarity and peace you need to make money God's way. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another Christian business owner who's ready to trust God and release the hustle. Until next time, remember, stay secure in Christ and steady in business.